Hello everyone, this is Kathleen Mower from Be Again Books, and I'm so pleased to be here today to share one last little bonus journal for the design team for the Graphics Fairy. I have wanted to do a sewing themed journal for a long time and just have never gotten around to it. But the Graphics Fairy has beautiful sewing images on their premium website. And so I decided to take the opportunity to make a sewing and needlework journal for this last journal. I have used 3 bundles primarily in this journal. I've used the seamstress, I've used the sewing ephemera, and I've used sewing and needlework. And then I've used several of the printables in these bundles and some of the random images that I searched for background pages and pages that would look like old-fashioned fabrics. I have done a soft fabric covered journal. It's not completely soft. It's just what I call a semi-soft. So there's substance here, but it still is able to kind of bend and mold around the journal as it swells with other pretty ephemera. I have done this pretty just ribbon tassel, and I've just done it on a bulb pin and included a pretty charm dangle as well. I have also done this pretty collage on the front of this fabric cover. I've used some antique lace here along the edge of these pieces, some grosgrain ribbon, and 3 little buttons. And then I have found this beautiful vintage button and also done my usual button and bead closure with some beautiful lampwork beads. So here on the inside front cover, I have done one of my extreme cutout pockets. So all of this pulls out, and you can see how when you put the ephemera in, it just peeks out the bottom. I've used a crewel wool card, and you can journal on that. That's a vintage piece. There is a vintage coupon or certificate of some kind, and I loved the colors on that. And then this other vintage ephemera piece, and I like the way they all just kind of fit together here on the front page. And then as the title page, I've used one of the images from the bundles and artistic embroidery. I've done a silk ruffle here and included a little charm. Here's an altered junk mail envelope, and this is one of the pretty images of a woman sewing on one of these antique lap machines. Here I've done some layering with papers and some of the other images. Some ledger paper and some fibers woven through there. I've made this large pocket from a pattern instruction sheet, just this little journal card and another paper that I have used some intentional water damage to rough that up a little bit. This goes into this pocket with some pattern tissue. That's a ruffle. Plenty of room to journal on the back of that. Some avocado dyed paper. Here is one of the images, the printable images, and I have done some embroidery there with vintage wool. On this side, I have created another little peekaboo pocket with a vintage postcard, and one of the other pieces on that card peeks out the bottom. This is a vintage button card and one of the images from the bundles in there. Journaling papers, this This is an antique ledger. It flips out just with some notes. One of the beautiful printable pages. This is some antique handmade pillowcase etching, which I just loved that little border there. And on this side, I have included a vintage book page card and some braille paper with little lace trim. This is an envelope flip out with another one of the images as a card. A couple of vintage pieces here. This is another little altered image with some tape and lace. More journaling papers. Here's the other part of that coupon, and one of the images as a journal card, and a vintage calendar page. On this side, we have a little bit more ephemera, just from the images in the kit, and then this is just a little piece of tissue. Here is one of the most beautiful images in the kits, I think. This fun little sample card, and with that beautiful blue shoe. So I pulled out a piece of Monopoly money and just another random tag to journal on. Here's the other side of that instruction pocket, and it has a little card that just tucks in there, and a little paper clip here to kind of hold that in place. This is another one of my favorite things to do, remember, is to layer all of these papers together. So this just slides in that little space for a pocket. I've sewn a button on there. And here's one of the images from the bundles. Another of the images here, and an authentic calendar page, 1941. Isn't that a beautiful page? One of the printable pages. I have sewn this handmade napkin with this crocheted edge and embroidery, and then I've just sewn that on, and this is just a plain journaling card. This was one of the printable pages, and this is an antique sales card, and I have just tucked this little seam binding paper inside as a journaling spot. Another one of the printable pages, very pretty. Some handmade Japanese paper. It's got this beautiful water stain on it. And I love this page, this beautiful bird carrying the thread and all of these colored threads here. And two little receipts. Some ribbon down there, and on this side, I felt like this print looked like fabric, and so I wanted to include that. I've done some faux antique tape here, and this is a page from February 1960, the work basket. Here's a little flip, another tuck spot, another flip out. I just love making these layers. This is some handmade paper and a little topper here, the button. So I've used this image on this side, taken some hand-painted paper and wrapped it around to create another little peekaboo pocket here with a ribbon embellishment. journal card from one of the printable pages. It can either go on top or tuck underneath. And on this side, this is a flip out. It's a coin envelope that I made with one of the printable images of the blouse pins. And I just made a lace pocket and tucked these little pieces in there also. And that just pins here on the top. Another one of the printable pages. Beautiful. This is some vintage postcard. Here's the other side of the Work Basket magazine. Another one of the printable pages. This is another one of my favorite things, these peekaboo pockets with just kind of collaged cluster here of the different images from the bundle. And I just have included a vintage needlework magazine page with some instructions. That just slides down. Some note pages. Another place to maybe paste pictures or clippings. The handmade paper there. Here is just a simple lace tuck here. My K card, phonics card. Another one of the printable pages. And finally, here on the back page, I've just used this beautiful journal card and exploded it so that it can be just a lovely journal page. That just slides around there. And I've used one of these little mini Tim Holtz paper clips to hold that in place. Here's the back cover. And now you can kind of see that it's very stiff, but it can be molded. And then here's the back of the cover. And that's my beautiful sewing journal. Thanks so much for being with me today and for the Graphics Fairy for hosting me one more time. And we'll see you again on my channel with a new project.